work with the database, here what are the properties that we have given? What are the properties that we have written? Create, update, retrieve, delete. Okay. For example, if I'm specifying that create, create on what? You can create user, you can create a table, you can create cursor, you can create trigger. Okay, you can create a procedure and then function, anonymous and then named functions. We have unnamed functions also that we have, they are called anonymous functions and then procedures. For all these purpose we can use that create for all these purpose. Okay, in this case here we will see that first how we can create a user, how we can create a user. Okay, to create a user, the syntax for creating a user is create user. Here you need to be provide username identified by password. This is a syntax to create a user. Who can create the user? Who can create the users? The administrator have the privileges. The administrator only they can create that users. Okay, first of all you need to be connect to the database with the help of administrator or with the credentials of administrator. So what is administrator? In my system my administrator user credential is connect. Okay, to connect to the administrator, then here either it may be administrator or either it may be the user. To connect to the system you need to use the command connect space username followed by password. If it is an admin, admin username followed by admin password. If it is a username, if it is a individual user, individual username and then password. So like that. Are you getting or not? Is it clear? The default administrator is nothing but system in SQL. The administrator name is nothing but system. And the password is during the installation, whatever the password that you have maintained or that you are represented. My password is nothing but SAM that I was mentioned during the installation procedure. Are you getting or not? Now see here. You can use that connect space username followed by a password, or you can use that different notation also, connect username and then press enter. Then automatically it will ask you to provide a password and you need to be provide a password. Okay, it's a request and acknowledge related. Suppose if you are going to be use only connect and then press enter, if you use that connect and then press enter, then automatically the system will ask you to provide username and provide password. So like that we need to be connect to the database by using these three different commands, any one of the command. Okay, now see here, so I'm trying to be connecting to that SQL. So here click on that run SQL prompt. So this is the SQL prompt. Okay, now here I'm using that connect, enter. When I use connect and then followed by enter, then it will ask you to provide username. What is your username? Here the username is called system. What is your password? Password is nothing but, even if I typed also it will not be visible to you, it is an encrypted. Okay, I given the wrong password. Once again I'm trying to be connecting. Okay, connect, and here I provided that username and then password. Here it will not visible to you, it is an encrypted password that we have. Are you getting it? Either you can use this way, or if you go to the second procedure, connect followed by, so what is the second way? Connect space followed by username. What is the username? System, and then enter. It will ask only the password because the password field is missed. then here you need to be provide a password like this, or either you can go with that like this also, connect a system and then password like that. Okay, now we have connected to that database administrator. So this is a database administrator level login. Now with the help of this login you are going to be connecting the database. Are you getting or not? So now we are in the which user. To verify that which user that we are connected, use a command called show user. Presently we are connecting to that, we are connected with the system administrator. Okay, now to create a user into the database, the syntax is create user, username identified by password. Here the username and then password was given by the user defined text or context. In database management system also, user defined variables or user defined text that have some rules and regulations that we have. First letter must and should be alphabet. Okay, it does not start with the number. No special characters are not allowed except underscore. So like that, the same naming conventions here also we are following. Okay, now here I am trying to be creating a user. Okay, create user. What is a username? For example, my username is called Ramu. Ramu identified by, what is the password of Ramu? Can I consider that Ramu 123? This is a password of Ramu user credentials. This is a user creation. This is a user creation. You need to be do that user creation in where? With the help of administrator login only. Okay, because administrator have the rights to create the user credentials. Okay, now go to the SQL prompt, and here I am trying to be creating. Now the user was created. Yes or no? Can I connect with that user? Yes or no? Okay, now I'm going to be click on one more prompt, SQL prompt. I'm opening that another prompt. Okay, at back side you can identify the administrator, front side you can identify that user. Okay, presently which user that we have connected? System. Okay, now I would like to maintain the system into two parts. I mean entire window into two parts. Right side you can identify the administrator, left side you can identify which one? Right side or left side? Left side you can identify administrator, right side you can identify user. Okay, now I'm going to be connecting to that user. Connect. What is the syntax to connect to the user? Connect a space username. What is the username? Ramu. What is the password we have given? Ramu 123. Okay, and enter. Press enter. Now user was created by the administrator, but when the user is trying to be connecting, then it generating an error. What is that error? The user Ramu lacks create section privileges. Login denied. Privilege means permission. Privilege means permission. The user Ramu didn't have the permissions to connect. Why they are not able to connect? Because the administrator had already created that user. Yes, they are created, but they didn't given any permission. They didn't given any permission. Okay, now once again at the administrator level you need to be give the permissions to the user. To give the permissions to the user, we need to be know another command called grant. Grant is a command. Okay, grant is a command which is used to give the permissions to the particular user. Okay, the syntax for grant is grant privilege or permission, whatever you are specifying. So here we can identify that error clearly. Privilege. Okay, privilege or permission, whatever you are considered. You need to be provide permissions. How many permissions you are going to be give? Each and every permission you need to be separated by a comma. permission 1 2 3 and so on, permission n number of permissions you are going to be provide. Give or specify all the permissions separated by a comma. To whom you are giving the particular username, you need to be specified. Okay, grant. So maybe create permission, maybe connect permission, maybe update permission, maybe resource permission, maybe table space permission. So like that, you need to be give all privilege related information. What is the permission that you are going to be give for that particular user? Provide all the permission names. Okay, for example, I would like to give permissions to that user called Ramu. What is the permission? Connect permission. Grant. Connect is a permission. I would like to give only one permission called connect only. Is it clear? Grant connect to the username called Ram. The username called Ram. Now, this permission, who will give? The administrator will give that permission. Then once again, go to the administrator level login and user level login. Both I am going to be parallelly opening both the windows. You can identify. The administrator is trying to be give the permissions to the user. Administrator had given the permissions to the user called connect, permission called connect. To whom they have given permission? To Ramu. Now once again, Ramu is trying to be connecting. Okay, that is nothing but client. Client is nothing but Ramu. Right side you can identify. Ramu is trying to be connecting. Is Ramu connected? Previously, Ramu has an issue with the connection establishment. Now that establishment connection related issues was cleared. Is it clear? Yes sir. No. Okay. Now to verify which user that we have connected, already we have seen that show user command. In that particular user, how many table spaces that we have, or in this default login, how many tables that we have used, we have procedures, triggers that we have. To verify that part, we need to use that another to retrieval purpose. We need to know about that one more command called select. Select is a command that is used for a retrieval purpose. Okay, retrieval. So how we can write the command? Select star from table or view name. Either you can write table name or view name, whatever name. Here the star means select star select star from table name. Star tells about that all the features or attributes available in that particular table. Maybe your table contains 10 fields, 10 columns. All the 10 columns you are extracting. Suppose if you are going to be extract particular column, then you need to use select particular column name. Particular column name. Maybe one or more number of columns, then define each and every column separated by column, comma. Maybe column, I am retrieving column 10 or column name 5. It no need of any, it's a comma. No need of any sequence order. You can write in any manner also. Okay. Select column name from table or view name. You need to be write like this. You can retrieve all the fields. In the second, if you run this query, we can retrieve only these two fields only. We can get that only column 10 name and column 5 name of a particular table name. Okay. If you're going to be cross check the default related anything, then instead of table name, here you need to be specify that tab. So now here you can see here, select star from tab. So here we can identify that two or two instances or rows that we have. So they are called maybe table, maybe synonym. Okay, different tables. So what type that we have? Here we have a table called Silas. I want to retrieve the Silas information. So what is the command? if you're going to be retrieve all the attributes of that part, select star from table name. What is the table name? What is the table name here? We have sailors. Now this is a table related. The sailors table related information. Yes, sir. This is all these are available in this. All these are available in your administrator login. Suppose if you are going to be verifying that user login, for example, right side client login we have. So now in the client login, what we have? Select star from tab. How many we have? We don't have. We have created the Ramu just now. The Ramu or the client that doesn't created anything. That's why we don't have any data to retrieval in their credential. Suppose if you want to be create, then once again here you need to be write create syntax. But is the client is having that create permission? No, it generate an error. It generate an error. Are you getting or not? They don't have that permission. For example, Ramu is trying to be create another user. Now create user. For example, username is called ABC. Identified by password ABC. Username itself ABC, password is itself ABC. Insufficient privileges. The user or the client, they don't have sufficient privileges. We have given only one permission to that user. We have given only one permission. What is that permission? What is the permission we have given? Only connect permission we have given. Suppose you have one or more number of permissions if you want to be give for that particular user, each and every permission is separated by a comma. You need to be mentioned. You need to be specified. Is it clear? Everyone. Now user creation over and user permission is given. And suppose if user is worked for a particular period of time, user is worked particular period of time. Okay, maybe here we have not given that permissions to you, but the user is having a permission, and think about the user is having that permissions and they are working for particular period of time. Okay, and the administrator thinks that I don't want to be give the permissions to that particular user. Maybe the client left that organization. Maybe the client crossed that limits, whatever the permissions they have given, they are trying to be accessing that beyond that limit. Maybe they are accessing that illegal data. In that case, administrator had to be restrict that user. Administrator had to restrict. Okay, who given the permission? Administrator. And who will revoke that permissions? Administrator itself only. Okay, to remove that permissions whatever we have given to that particular user, then we need to know about that another command called revoke. Used to another command called revoke. Revoke whatever the permissions that we have given. Either you can give all the permissions or any one of the permissions. Permission 1, 2 or privilege 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, a number of permissions. When you are giving, you can use the keyword called to. When you are get backing that permission from that particular user, you need to use that from user, from that particular user. Okay, now I'm trying to be get back the permission, revoke. What is the permission I have given to that particular user? Connect. Okay, now I'm revoke the permission connect from Ramu. I don't want to give the permissions to now onwards. Previously they have. Now onwards I don't want to give. Okay, the administrator had to be restrict that particular user. Maybe connection related. Now cross check it. Now you can identify left side and right side, both server and then client. revoke connect from user. Now the revoke was successful. Permission was, whatever the permission we have given, we get back the same permission from that particular user. Now once again the user is already connected. Now we don't have any issue. Suppose if user is trying to be connected, because section was already running, okay, suppose if you have connected to that user freshly, then you can get an error. Connect username and then followed by password. Connect username followed by a password, then you can get an error. The user is having the login issue related to the create or connect permission related. Yes sir. Okay, now the user is, when the user is trying to be connecting, they may be a login denied, then immediately they are consulting that administrator, what is the issue, then they will tell you that regarding that issue related information, whether they are, you have crossed that limits, maybe if you have left from that organization for a security point of view, data maintain confidentiality point of view, they may be remove that login credentials. Are you getting or not? Is it clear? If you don't want that user permanently from the database, if you don't want, then the administrator had to be do the user deleting. For that they can use permanently, for that purpose they can use the command called drop. Drop is a command which is used to work permanently on the database. So for that, drop your user and you need to be specify username. When you are going to be deleting that user, simply drop user username, no need of any password. Okay, suppose when you are dropping that user, if the user is already connected to the database, in that case it may not be dropped, it may get an error. Okay, now see here, with the help of administrator login, I am trying to be drop that user. Drop user username. What is the username? Ram. Cannot drop that user because it is currently connected. Presently we have client related we have. So here we have after that login changes, I mean permission changes, when the user connecting, it's an issue. Okay, but here it is already connected. To verify which user that we have connected, use a command called show user. Presently which user that we have connected? Ramu. Once this section was expired, then only it is possible to drop. Otherwise you don't have that possible, because the user was already connected to the database. Okay, now for that purpose, here simply I'm going to be closing that section by using an exit command. Okay, either you can use exit or either you can click on that close button, cross button. Okay, anything. Now the section was closed by the client. Now the administrator trying to be dropping once again. Now the user was dropped permanently. User login credentials was removed from the database. When the user is trying to be connecting to that system, okay, after that administrator dropped, and once again the user is trying to be connecting the system, it shows an error called invalid username. Previously we don't have any error like this. Now this entire login was removed from the database permanently. Now it will ask you that provide proper username and then password. The username was invalid. Okay, cross check that username and password because it was dropped from the database. Okay, so like that we can create user, we can give the permission, we can get back the permission. Okay, we can delete the user permanently from the database. So that everything that we need to be done in MySQL, sorry, in SQL. In MySQL you don't have that case. This is going to be done at that starting during that now moving to the MySQL part. Now here you can identify MySQL part here. Okay, this is a MySQL. In MySQL, initially, first verify the database that we have. Okay, so all these commands, whatever we have discussed right now, that everything is comes under the SQL part. Now we are moving to the MySQL related. Okay, in SQL we are using to connect with the username. In MySQL we need to be connect with the database. To verify which database that we have, you use the command called show databases. Use the command called show databases. If you execute, these are the databases that we have already exist in your MySQL. So the default database may be information schema or MySQL or performance schema or reservations, or maybe Sakila. So like that we have. So here I'm going to be creating this is my database. Okay, if you want to be create your own database, now these are the existing databases. These are the existing databases. Suppose if you are going to be create your own database, create database name, create database name. An example, this is syntax. Example, create database. For example, here I'm going to be talk about my database is called as, for example, I'm performing that project on web development related. Maybe that project that may contains that one or more number of tables, all are going to be maintained in a single database. For example, it is called web project. Assume that my database name is a web project. Okay, now I'm trying to be creating database. Now the database was created. To create a database, you need to use that command called create database and database name. Whether the database is created or not, to verify, use the command called show databases. Now cross check it. Is the project web project is created? Previously we don't have. Now it was created. Yes or no? Is it clear? Now database was created. And we can verify with existing database, and we can go with that existing database related any tables that we have or not in that login credential. Okay, for example, if I'm going to the MySQL database, this command is used, show database is used to visualize or to represent to exhibit what are the databases that we have, and create database is used to create your own database. Once the database was created, if you want to be work with the database, you need to use a command called use database name. If you want to be work with that particular database, you need to use the command called use space database name. So which database we are going to be work? For example, MySQL. Okay, use MySQL. Now database was changed. Which database that we have connected now? MySQL. Actually we created one database called web project, but we connected to the existing database. Okay, suppose if you are going to be connected to your own database, you need to use the command called use web project. Now automatically it can switch from one database to another database at any point of time. Are you getting or not? Presently which database that we are connected? Web project. How many tables that we have to visualize that existing related? Okay, to visualize, you need to use that show tables. Show tables. Okay, now see here presently how many tables that we have. We don't have any tables in this project or in this database because just now we created that project, web project. Can I change the database? Use MySQL. Okay, now database changed. Now I'm going to verify that how many tables that we have. Show tables. In that login we have, in that not login, in the database we have 38 tables that we have. Under the tables, one of the table called user, that user related information, that everything that we have, user related. Okay, now here if you are going to be cross check that the table related any information, so now we verified some set of tables. Okay, show tables tells about that in the database what are the tables that we have, the table information it will be gives to you. Okay, if you want to be cross check particular table, select star from table name or view name, the same procedure. Okay, so here we are going to be talking about only table. Now I'm going to be talking about table name. Okay, so the same like previously, select star from table name. Okay, now see here what is the table that we have. I think we have that user table that we have. Select star from user. We can retrieve that all the fields of that particular user table. Okay, select star from user. This is a user related information, 4 rows that we have. Are you getting or not? 4 rows that we have. Some information they are provided. Otherwise, cross check that another table, servers. Okay, select star from servers. We don't have any values in that particular servers. Maybe cross check with another table like that. You need to be cross check that table values. Are you getting or not? Is it clear? Right now we don't have any table, that's why in web project we don't have. Now we are connected to the MySQL database, we are having. For example, I need to be cross check that show databases. Now I would like to connect to the world database. Use database name. Show tables. How many tables that we have? 3 tables that we have. City, country, country language. I need to be cross check that select star from country. This is a country related information table. Country table. Are you checking or not? Totally 239 records that we have. 239 records we can identify. Yes or no? Okay. To verify the table related description or attributes columns, if you are going to be verified. Now see here, in SQL we are connected to that. In SQL we have connected to that. We retrieved that sales information. Yes or no? This is a complete table information. This is a complete information of your table. Yes or no? Are you getting on? I don't want any values, just attributes and then data types. If you are going to be verified, use the command called describe table name. What is the table name? Sales. Describe sales. The Silas table contains four fields: SID, SNAME, rating, age. These are the four fields. SID belongs to the number format. It is not to be considered as a null data. They have some constraint. SNAME, Silas name, may be variable length of characters. It contains that 10 characters length. Rating, number format data, numerical data. Age, it may be a floating point values, fractional values. Among the 4 digits, 2 digits are given for fractional purpose. Are you getting or not? Either you can use describe, or an abbreviated word for describe is nothing but DESC. DESC space followed by table name. Cross check the table name. Is it clear? We can retrieve that field names only. Describe space table name. Describe space table name. Describe space table name. In the same manner, in MySQL also same. Describe. What is the table name here? What is the table name that we used here? Country. Okay, describe country. This country table contains that these are the fields that we have. Code. Okay, content, region, surface area. Okay, independence year, population. So like that we have attributes. Each and every attribute related some specification that we have. How many characters it can support, or how many. Yes sir. Suppose if it is a user related. Describe user. I think user we don't have, because it is user belongs to another database. Okay, presently in our database, how many tables that we have? Show tables. Only 3 tables that we have. Can I use an abbreviated word instead of describe? Describe city. The city table contains how many fields? 5 fields. They are called ID, name, country code, district, population. What is the type of ID? What is the type of city name? Character format. How many characters it can support? 35 characters up to. Is there any possibility to enter null data? No, they have restriction. How many primary keys that we have? Only one primary key, that is nothing but ID. Okay, default value may be a null, or extra information, auto increment they have added. Okay, so like that we can get the table related information. Okay, or you can use that abbreviated word DESC and then table name. What is the table name? For example, country language. This is a table description. Country code, language, official, and then is official and percentage. Like that we can describe the attributes or the features of a particular table. Table is nothing but collection of rows and then columns, or combination of rows and then columns. Still now under MySQL, what we have seen under MySQL? Show databases we have seen. Create data. We have created a database and we use the database, and that particular database how many tables that we have, and not only that one, each table related information. Describe table name, or you can use that abbreviated word for describe is DESC and then table name. That's we have verified. Are you getting or not? Suppose if you are going to be create your own table, this is already existing database that we have verified. Existing database related information now we have verified. Yes or no? If you want to be create your own database, first you need to be create the database. After that creation, you need to use the database. You need to do these two steps initially. What is the database? To verify that one, show databases. Okay, which database that we are going to work? Web project. Use project name. Now database was changed. Presently, which database that we are connected? Web project. How many tables that we have in that login? In that database? We don't have any tables. Now we will create a table. I am trying to be creating a table with particular fields. Okay, assume that 3 or 4 fields. So here the table name here I am considering as student. Table name is considered as student. Now see here, we have the table called student. For example, student number I am considering, student name. Okay, age. This is another field I am considering, age. Okay, and there belongs to which section? That is called another 4 attributes I am specifying. Student number I am considering as 101 or 100, 102, 105, 106, like that. Some random students I am considering. Student names I am considering as, for example, Peter, okay, Rama, Venkat, Joel, okay, Luber. So these are the student names I am considering, and randomly I am considering these are the values. I am trying to insert these values in my database. So these are the information related to that table. Okay, what is the table name that we are considered? Student. Here the table is combination of rows and then columns. These are called rows. These are called rows. Rows we can call it as tuples also, or sometimes we can call it as records also. These are the naming conventions. Rows, tuples, or records we can call. Horizontal. Vertical we can call it as attributes or columns, or we can call it as a features. Okay, now if you observe that table, the data which is stored in this table is nothing but in the combination of rows and columns. Here the values are represented with a numerical manner. For that numerical purpose, you can go with that integer data type. Okay. And for here, for name purpose, this is a combination of characters. Either you can go for char or varchar, both are valid. And mention the size also, maybe 10 characters, 20 characters, like that size you can need to be mentioned. Okay. And for age also I'm considering integer. For section I'm going to be considering that character format of data, suppose 10 characters I'm going to be considering. Okay, this is a data type associated to that particular field. Is it clear, everyone? Now coming to the creation of this table. Here we consider a sample table of student with 4 different fields: serial number, student number, student name, age, and then section. The data which is associated to the particular field here we rendered are represented here. Okay, so in this section we will see how to be create a table syntax. In the next section we will create that table and then followed by insertion, everything we will see. Okay, to create a table, the syntax to create a table is create table without any constraint. The syntax for creation of the table without any constraint is create table, and here you need to be specify the table name, open parenthesis, and define column name. What is the name associated to the particular field? What is the data type that associated? If you have any size, mention its sizes. If not, no need of anything. Okay, so first attribute or first column name and the data type and its size, like that. Second column, okay, like that, number of columns, whatever the columns that you have, represent all the columns like this, and then close the parenthesis and then semicolon. So now we'll see that a sample table with only 2 attributes. For example, create table student std is my table name. It contains that roll number, and the format data type here I consider as integer, and name here I consider as a character format of data. 30 characters I allocated for student name. What is the table name? std. Okay, after that all the fields are specification, close that parenthesis. Now here I am trying to be creating a table.